support Pokemon, like you see Mandibuzz there, and then you see Mudsdale. Uh, and Ninetales is a little diverse too, but the AFK thing, the Arcanine Finny Kartana, that is just a fire, water, grass core, and it has really good defensive synergy and offensive synergy. So that's why we see it, and water fairy typing is really good. So I would like to see both the players bring it, and that would just be a really skill-based matchup that I feel would be fun to watch.
Alright, so coming into our first kind of show of Pokemon here, we'll see what Zach and James have brought to the table for this round.
Do you like that, the plain white tee? I think it's classy.
It's pretty classy.
Yeah.
Plain white tees are pretty classy. So James is going to send out Tapu Fini and Mandibuzz, which is the first we're seeing of Mandibuzz in play this game. And then Zachary has Arcanine and Ninetales.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll be seeing a few things this turn. The first thing is this Intimidate going off before Finny. So Arcanine is faster than Tapu Fini. And Tapu Fini's shown us the Misty Surge, which activates ability. So we've seen speed tiers this turn. Ninetales is faster than Arcanine, Arcanine's faster than Tapu Fini. And we don't know Mandibuzz's speed relative to anything else.
I'm really excited about this kind of like double dog.
Yeah, there's lots of dogs on the field. There are 4 dogs on the field.
I'm excited about this. But we saw Mandibuzz using something very interesting, a Misty Seed. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Misty Seed, upon being in a terrain, and Misty terrain, it raises the special defense of that Pokemon by 1 stage and consumes the seed. So it can't be used again in a battle, but you get a +1 special defense increase.
So it kind of makes sense why Mandibuzz and Tapu Fini were out together.
Yes. So we see Ninetales going off that Aurora Veil to boost up the defenses of Zachary's team. That's really good for Kartana because it has paper thin special defense.
And Mandibuzz is going to get a Tailwind now.
Yeah. So this will be good for James. He can outspeed and potentially KO the Kartana with a combination of something like Foul Play and Moonblast. And we see the sail going off because of Ninetales' snow warning at the beginning of the game. And we see Tapu Fini recovering the HP from the hail, so that's giving it leftovers. So now we know that both the items on James' side of the field. And this turn, I expect to see something like a double into Kartana with like Foul Play and Moonblast, and just let the Ninetales go free to attack. Ninetales can't do much against either of these Pokemon, even though it does have type advantage over Mandibuzz, and it does have Freeze Dry against Tapu Fini, but they're both very specially defensive, so they both have +1 special defense, and Ninetales won't be doing much this turn.
Right. And Tapu Fini is going to go for the Protect here. And Mandibuzz is going to use Foul Play on that Kartana. Let's see how much damage it does. Not quite enough, but still about
over half.
60%.
Yeah, that's decent damage.
And Ninetales is going to use Blizzard. Let's see how much damage that does to the Mandibuzz. Not very much though because of Misty Seed.
Yep. So Mandibuzz is just going to be a wall here, and it's just going to stick around, especially with the special defense boost. And we see Tapu Fini just remaining at full HP because of the leftovers. Kartana did go into Tapu Fini with a Leaf Blade last turn, and I think this turn we're gonna see an offensive turn from Tapu Fini. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Muddy Water and a Foul Play into Kartana. That seems to be just the best play.
Kartana will detect though, so if James does actually double into the Kartana, then it will not take any damage.
No, it won't. Now we see the Muddy Water coming off.
Will connect with that Ninetales, but not doing very much damage.
But it does lower the accuracy of Ninetales.
Which means that if Ninetales were to use Blizzard again, it may miss.
And it just went for Icy Wind, and it missed the Tapu Fini, which will allow Tapu Fini to go faster than this Kartana next turn if it's still in Tailwind.
But the Mandibuzz does lose a little bit of speed because of the Icy Wind. Kind of feel like Zachary might have been going for that freeze there.
Yeah, and he can only get the freeze on Mandibuzz too because of the misty terrain on the field, so Tapu Fini can't be frozen. But we also saw something interesting that turn. We saw Life Orb coming out from Ninetales, and usually you don't see that. Usually you see Focus Sash. You want to keep the Ninetales on the field long enough for one turn to set up Aurora Veil.
So do you think it's possible that Zachary might have teched that Ninetales and EV trained that Ninetales to be a little bit more bulky?
Yeah, it definitely is possible. Usually the stuff that's faster than Ninetales isn't physically offensive, so it could be especially defensive for sure. And with him having Kartana, they both the same speed stat, so he could make that Ninetales a little bit slower and a little bit more bulky. So he's not speed tying his two Pokemon all the time.
Alright, so Zachary is going to switch out in favor of Porygon 2, and that download is going to increase that attack.
Yep, and we see James just trying to stall the Tailwind. No, he has the Tailwind. Okay, that was an interesting play on James's end. And we see the Ninetales going for the Blizzard, and Mandibuzz going for the foul play onto Porygon 2. It won't do much, but it will do a little bit more thanks to that attack boost.
Tapu Fini is still going to be at full health for this.
Yeah, Tapu Fini's not been touched, and it's just staying around long enough.
We've seen a very interesting pattern from Tapu Fini, and James has made this decision to kind of switch between an offensive attack and then protecting the Tapu Fini.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, and I think it would have been better served attacking last turn with Muddy Water. I'm not quite sure about that decision on his part, but I'll trust him because he's played the team more than I have. And did I just see Tapu Fini avoid? Yes, I did. The accuracy drop from Muddy Water is really doing lots of help with getting Tapu Fini free of speed drops.
And we see Tapu Fini going for an offensive against that Ninetales, which will do enough damage to knock out the Ninetales. Which is Zachary's first Pokemon loss.
So usually you'll see Porygon 2 using Thunderbolt, but Zachary wants to be a little cheeky here, and he's using Charge Beam, which has a 70% chance to boost your special attack by one stage when you use it. So he's keeping his Porygon 2 a threat by threatening the attack boost every few turns. So Misty Terrain disappears from the battlefield, and there's no Tailwind anymore, but both the Pokemon on James's side have that special defense boost. Tapu Fini from the Calm Mind and Mandibuzz from the Misty Seed. So we'll have to see something that's physically offensive coming from Zachary's side this turn.
Do you think that Mandibuzz may go for the Tailwind again?
I could see it. It might be risky though, given that they're in against a Porygon 2. And it's definitely risky. I would prefer, I think this turn we'll actually be seeing Kartana knocking out the Mandibuzz, but I think the Leaf Bladed Tapu Fini is just a little too choreographed.
Oh, but James is actually going to protect his Mandibuzz and send out Arcanine instead.
Yeah, this is an interesting play. He wants to save the Tapu Fini by intimidating the Kartana. And he goes for Protect on Tapu Fini, so he's not going to be taking any damage this turn. Oh, it looks like Zachary is going for the Grass EMZ Crystal move, Gloom Doom. And I'm going to guess that will be on James's Tapu Fini. So this will break through the meadow of villainy into Tapu Fini and break through the Protect. It is intimidated, and it is going through Protect, so it only does 25% damage.
Still doing quite a bit of damage, though.
Yeah, that did the most damage that Tapu Fini's had on it all game. And we see Porygon 2 get the special attack boost from Charge Beam.
So now it has an increased special attack and increased attack.
Yeah, so if it was a mixed Porygon 2, it would be really low in life here. But I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to just be special attack. Now that it's funny like that, most people have trained their Pokemon with even defenses to trigger a attack boost on Porygon 2, so usually you'll see an attack boost, but you'll get lucky sometimes with a special attack boost.
And so we see a switch out here from James into the Mandibuzz again.
Yep, and we see the Kartana going for Detect, and the Arcanine going into the Detect. And Porygon 2 is just attacking with its increased special attack.
We'll get the knockout on Mandibuzz. That Mandibuzz is finally gone.
Yep, it doesn't have its increased special defense anymore. Porygon 2 doesn't get the special attack raise though. So, I like this position for Zach, but it is still really dangerous with that Kartana there. James has an advantage, I think, but it's not the worst for either player right now.
Alright, so Tapu Fini is gonna, change the terrain once again.
Yep. Don't you love the background on this terrain? I think it's the best one.
I think they're all kind of cool.
Yeah. So Porygon 2 is taunted, so it can't use Recover, as we see just there. And Tapu Fini, I think, is just gonna go for an attack this turn. I don't think it really fears much from Kartana, because about the HP it has left is about how much, like, a bulky Kartana would do to it. So I think Intimidated it'll be able to survive. So Kartana's gonna come back, so it doesn't, like, risk fainting from Arcanine this turn.
Arcanine's gonna intimidate the Tapu Fini and the Arcanine, which doesn't really do too much for the Tapu Fini, but
No.
may do something for the Arcanine,
Yeah.
depending on what moves it has.
Now we see the Arcanine on James's side, going for a Flare Blitz into Arcanine on Zachary's side.
Good move on Zach's part to pull out the Kartana.
Yes. Now I see Zachary going for that Charge Beam once again. He just wants to get damage done on this Tapu Fini slot, and it's just being stopped from doing so with that Protect every other turn.
Well, now that the taunt has worn off, so Porygon 2 you could see a recover here, but the fact that Tapu Fini did just use a Protect last turn, we may see Porygon 2 try a Charge Beam again.
Yeah, I could see it going on the offense at this turn. Tapu Fini will want to go on the offense this turn with a Muddy Water or a Calm Mind just to help deal with that Arcanine. I think a Calm Mind here on James's end would be a really good play.
But I could also see him going for the Muddy Water because, Zach's in a position where he can't really take out the Arcanine because then the Kartana is in a very bad position to get knocked out.
Yes. So Zach's going for the Protect on his Arcanine, and James is sort of now combating that issue of the Charge Beam by snarling the Porygon 2 to bring it back down to neutral special attack.
And we do see a Muddy Water will only connect with the Porygon 2. So smart move on Zach's part. Going for the Protect on that Arcanine, and that Charge Beam will connect with Tapu Fini. Not for as much damage as I think Zach would have liked.
No, the snarl helped there by bringing it back down to neutral, but it did just get the special attack boost. So it's very situational, Charge Beam, and I don't think it's paying as much dividends as Zach would like right now because of how that Arcanine is snarling it and how the Kartana in the back is threatened by Arcanine. It's sort of stuck with that attack, and I don't think it's the best option right now. I think he's missing Thunderbolt quite a bit.
Well, I think we're gonna see, Tapu Fini going for its kind of predictable Protect here after its offensive move. So
I am a betting person, and I will say that it's going for Calm Mind. I think this is a good opportunity for James to go for Calm Mind. If Zach sets up the Trick Room, then Tapu Fini is slower than Kartana.
we're gonna see the Porygon 2 switch out into Kartana.
And that was a Premier Ball. That looks really good.
Flamethrower into Tapu Fini, so maybe it is going for a Calm Mind. Because it did not Protect. Interesting choice on Zach's part to go for Flamethrower into the Tapu Fini slot.
Yeah, I think he wanted to weaken it enough where Leaf Blade the next turn would do enough to knock it out.
Oh, but both Pokemon a double knockout here.
Yeah, this is, I think, might be signaling the end of the game here. It's now 3-1 in James's favor, and with that Muddy Water hitting both Pokemon and knocking them out, we might just be seeing a forfeit, or we might just see this Porygon 2 try to bring it back. If James just has Flare Blitz on his Arcanine, instead of Snarl, he can Snarl down the Porygon 2 to -6 special attack, and just start spamming Flare Blitz.
That Charge Move is gonna do nothing.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
I don't really know if there's that much that Porygon 2 can actually do in this situation.
I don't think there really is. I think Tapu Fini is just going to calm Mind up. And it looks like Zachary is...
We're seeing a forfeit now.
Yeah. So, James will take this game 1. Pretty handily. That Tapu Fini was not really threatened by Kartana with Arcanine on the side. So, I'm really interested to see game 2. After such a convincing game 1. The mirror is always fun to watch. People seem to say that it's boring and it's slow, but I like it because it's really skill based and you have to pick your moves very, very intentionally. You have to know what's coming this turn and what's coming the next turn. So.
And I think that this last round was very revealing for both players. In terms of items, the types of moves the Pokemon were holding. We saw a very wide spread of moves being used.
Yeah, we saw a lot of information being revealed, so that might also play into the players' decisions to just switch things up if they want to. I think James had a very solid game plan. For Zachary, I don't think the Aurora Veil was necessary. So.
I think we might even see Zach bringing out Tapu Fini instead.
Yeah,
of the Ninetales.
I could see Tapu Fini coming out. I think the Tapu Fini Kartana Arcanine core would work well for Zachary here. It sort of works well in the mirror. So I would be interested to see if he's able to pull that out too and get himself a game 2 win.
But in this scenario, it's like obviously the core is something that you want to go for, but it's that 4th Pokemon and the speed stats that are really going to make a difference.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to see Ninetales here because it doesn't do much. It gets threatened by Kartana on the other side really quickly and it doesn't have Focus Sash. So I would really like to see Zachary bring out his Porygon 2 again. I could see Mudsdale being a thing, but it just doesn't deal well with Kartana or Tapu Fini. So
definitely not Tapu Fini.
So I think he's stuck with that Porygon 2 in his 4th slot.
Well, we'll see what happens. So it looks like James is going to start with Kartana and Garchomp this round.
Yeah.
So bringing Garchomp in place of what? We kind of wonder. And looks like we are going to see the Ninetales and the Tapu Fini from Zach. So it kind of makes it seem like he didn't bring Porygon 2 this game.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he brought Porygon 2 with this lead. The thing here, there's a lot going on this turn before it's even started. Ninetales and Kartana are potentially speed tying. Garchomp could be Scarf, which would not surprise me.
Especially because we've seen it earlier in this.
Yeah, it's become very popular as of late, so it would not surprise me to see that Garchomp being Scarfed, and Ninetales.
But it also wouldn't surprise me to see that Garchomp have a Z move either.
Ground DMC, yeah. It's sort of 50-50, and you have to look at the team how it's made, and at the worst, James is going for a 50-50 speed tie to knock out the Ninetales with Smart Strike. So it'll be interesting to see what these players do if they risk the speed tie.
Alright, so James is going to withdraw that Garchomp, probably a very smart move given that Misty Surge is on the battlefield, and send out his Tapu Fini.
Yeah. And it looks like Zachary's protecting his Ninetales, and James is going right into that with a Smart Strike.
Good bait for the Smart Strike.
Yep.
And Dazzling Gleam onto both the Tapu Fini and the Kartana. A critical hit on the Kartana.
I don't know how I feel about this position, because James's Kartana threatens both these Pokemon. So I feel like we're getting down to a 50-50 turn here, where Zach has to predict which Pokemon Kartana is going to go for. I think James's Tapu Fini is really relatively safe, so we'll be able to see him calm Mind up this turn if he wants to. It'll be interesting. Whoever wins the speed tie, if Zach wants to risk it and go for the Aurora Veil, that would be interesting. We don't know what James's Kartana has for an item, so it could be Assault Vest and could live a Blizzard. So James's Kartana is going before the Ninetales, and it's just going to knock it out with Smart Strike. So I guess Zach went for that 50-50, and I'm going to guess that Ninetales actually is maximum speed.
And that Kartana's gonna get a beast boost after knocking out that Ninetales.
Yeah, so that makes it a lot more threatening. So, with the +1 attack boost, it threatens to knock out this Tapu Fini this turn, which it wouldn't before, because of how bulky Tapu Fini is. It's the bulkiest Tapu, it's great. Did you know I love Tapu Fini?
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell from how much you've been talking about it. And so, Zach is kind of in an interesting place where he really is to kind of think about the next Pokemon and what's going to be most effective against that Kartana, and it looks like he's picking his own Kartana.
Yeah, so at the range of HP that James's Kartana is at, most Kartana carry Sacred Sword, and a Sacred Sword would KO James's Kartana, but a Sacred Sword from James's Kartana would KO Zachary's Kartana because of the Beast Boost.
Yeah, so this is kind of an instance where we might see a speed tie, and it really will depend on.
It's unfortunate to see speed ties again, but this is the way the players train their Pokemon and choose their Pokemon. So that's just how the battle is going to play out, and we're going to see how it ends up.
So Dex is going to withdraw his Tapu Fini and go for the Arcanine.
Yeah.
So, which is a great play in order to lower the attack stats of both Tapu Fini and especially that Kartana.
So I see James's Kartana winning another speed tie again.
But that Leaf Blade is going to knock out that Tapu Fini, and that was a Pokemon that was giving Zach a lot of problems last game.
Yep. So with this turn, Zach has turned things around. So that Kartana will not faint from Hail next turn, but it will faint this in 2 turns based on the HP left. So it's interesting because these Kartanas are speed tying. Zach is now at +1 Kartana, and James is at +0. It looks like James is bringing back out the Garchomp, which has a pretty neutral matchup against Kartana, especially at this HP, and has a great matchup against Arcanine. So it'll be interesting to see if James's Kartana is Assault Vest, which I think it might be based on that Dazzling Gleam damage in turn 1, or if it's just going to be like Focus Sash, and if it will be able to take Protect this turn.
And that Garchomp is really not threatened here because of the fact that Ninetales is gone.
Yes. And James won the 3rd Kartana speed tie in a row, so he's feeling a little lucky right now, if it was a speed tie at all. It looks like we're seeing the ground.
Ground EMZ. It is a ground EMZ on that Garchomp, and we are going to see that connect on that Arcanine.
And we're going to see the full force Z move, Tectonic Rage. And you know where this Arcanine is going?
Definitely down to the core of the earth.
Oh yeah. So it's just going to erupt. Is that magma or lava?
I don't know. But that Arcanine is definitely done.
That Arcanine just got knocked out, and I think it's Tapu Fini left for Zachary, right?
I think that is the last Pokemon that we expect to see on Zach's side.
Okay, so I think this game is pretty much wrapped up. There's not much that Zachary can do.
Especially because James's Kartana is a double Beast Boost.
Well, it's at +1 because it got intimidated. But it is still a threat, and it should just one-hit KO this Tapu Fini. Even if not, Garchomp usually holds Poison Jab, and it can Poison Jab and Leaf Blade knock out the Tapu Fini. So I would not be surprised with another forfeit this game. But I think James is going to take this game home pretty quickly in the next turn or 2.
Right, because even still, if in some, miraculous scenario that Zach was able to knock out both the Garchomp and the Kartana, James still has another Pokemon left.
Yeah, and it's just really hard to come back from a 3-1 deficit.
But we see James kind of going for the safe play here, protecting the Garchomp.
Yeah, he wants to protect it from a Moonblast if it happens.
Yeah, but that Leaf Blade is going to be enough, and James will take the 2nd round.
Okay, yeah, so James convincingly takes that game too. It's a good battle from both, and I think James may have just had a better team for the Arcanine, Tapu Fini, Kartana core.
Yeah, I think that Garchomp and the Mandibuzz really did kind of do a great amount of support.
Yeah, I think Mandibuzz is really good for the mirror. It has great special defense, and it's not really threatened by Kartana. So, I appreciate seeing that on that core. we will be going to a short break real quick, and I will be back with an interview with James. So we'll see you in a few minutes.